Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. Nicole didn't look up from her laptop when I zipped the last of my luggage shut. She was sitting at the kitchen counter, coffee half drunk beside her, and the screen glowing with emails. She wasn't working, not really. Too many browser tabs open, none of them work-related. "I'll be gone for 10 days, I said. "Conference ends next weekend. I might take Monday after that to recover." "Okay," she said softly, barely glancing my way. No questions about the flight. No, have a safe trip. Just a pause, then back to her screen. That was our rhythm lately, like two people living under one roof, pretending it still meant something. I grabbed my bag, slung my jacket over my shoulder, and stopped at the front door. She still didn't look at me. "You need anything while I'm out?" She shook her head. "I'm good." I stood there a second, then walked out. What stuck with me, though, wasn't what she said. It was what she wore under her robe. A full outfit, jewelry on, not her usual stay-home look. She never dressed up for Zoom calls, and she had mentioned working from home all week. Still, I didn't accuse. That's not me. I boarded the flight, checked into the Berlin hotel, and did exactly what I said I would. But that pebble stayed there. So, 2 nights in, sitting in my hotel room with nothing good on the TV, I opened the smart home app we barely used anymore, just to check. A new name on the Wi-Fi log, L. Ward's iPhone. I stared at it. I didn't react. I just turned off my phone and went to bed. The next morning I called Peter, someone I trusted more than anyone. He used to run private security for a finance firm before going freelance. I gave him access to the smart home app and told him exactly what I needed. Eyes on the house, quiet monitoring, no assumptions, just data. If something was happening, I didn't want opinions. I wanted proof. That night, I called Nicole from the hotel. I kept it normal. She picked up. "Hey, you good?" "Yeah," I said. "Conference is solid. Had a good session this morning. You doing okay back home?" There was a pause. "Yeah, nothing exciting. Just work." "You been out much?" "Not really," she said. "Weather's been crap. I've mostly stayed in." "Right," I said. The call didn't last more than 3 minutes. Her tone was flat, but a little too rehearsed. I used to think that was paranoia. Now I just call it instinct. After we hung up, I texted Peter. L. Ward's iPhone showed up on the Wi-Fi log again. "All right," he replied. "I'm digging in." The next day he sent a video. It was from the backup security system I'd installed 2 years ago, separate from the app Nicole had access to. I never told her it even existed. The image showed the front door opening. Nicole, in jeans and a long coat, greeted a man in a fitted gray jacket. They hugged, long enough for it to mean something. Peter captioned it simply, "Timestamp, Friday, 6:42 p.m. I stared at the screen for a long minute, then typed, "Got a name?" An hour later, he responded, "Luke Ward, sales representative, used to work with her at the agency." I remembered the name. She mentioned him once, early in our marriage. "We used to grab drinks after work sometimes, but it wasn't anything," she'd said. I never brought it up again. Peter followed up with access logs, movement data, even 2 muted clips from inside the living room. Clear enough. Luke walked into the kitchen. Nicole handed him a glass of wine. I watched them without blinking. Not out of shock. More like confirmation. Pieces falling into place. I messaged Peter again. "Can you monitor for 2 more days?" He replied with a thumbs up. Peter didn't waste time. By the next 2 days, he sent me everything. Wi-Fi activity, front door timestamps, and camera footage. Luke had been at the house 4 times in 5 days. 2 overnight visits, 2 during the day. Peter also sent a short clip. No sound. Luke was standing behind her in the kitchen, hands on her waist. Nicole is leaning into him. That was all I needed. Still, I wasn't rushing to confront her. Not yet. That's not how I work. Instead, I downloaded everything. I wanted every detail airtight. No drama, no holes. I spent the next day walking through Berlin like a tourist, but my mind was moving in another direction. I made a checklist: assets, account access, legal documents, and the prenup copy. Then I called my lawyer back home, Maria Keller, and asked for a discreet consultation. I didn't give her details yet, just said, "It's personal. I'll explain when I get back. I need you ready." She said, "Understood." On the 5th night, I booked the earliest flight home. Nicole still thought I had 5 more days out there. I didn't correct her. The conference had wrapped early. A few sessions got canceled, and the client meetings I had lined up got pushed to next month. There was no reason to stick around, and truthfully, I had more important things to deal with at home. I flew out the next morning just after 10 a.m. Berlin time and landed a little after 1 p.m. local. I took a cab from the airport and walked through my front door. The house was quiet. I could smell her perfume faintly. A wine glass sat in the sink. A second one in the living room still had lipstick on the rim. I didn't need more proof, but I took photos anyway. Her weekend bag was missing. Nothing added to the shared calendar. The guest room had been used. Her robe lay crumpled on the floor. I stood there, quiet, just observing, like a man at a crime scene. I spent the next 2 hours copying files from the home office, updating account passwords, and securing everything. Then I called Maria. "I'm ready to proceed," I said. Nicole got home by evening. She walked in with grocery bags like nothing had happened. I was in the kitchen, pouring a drink. She stopped when she saw me. Her eyes froze. "You're back early." "I changed plans. Flew back this morning," I said. She looked at the bags in her hands, then back at me. "I was at the market." I nodded, set the glass down, and gestured to the table. "Sit." She hesitated, then placed the bags on the counter and walked over slowly. Sat down like she knew what was coming but didn't want to guess too far ahead. I pulled a folder from the drawer and placed it in front of her. "What's this?" she asked. "Everything," I said. "Wi-Fi logs, door camera stills, screenshots, device records." Her mouth opened slightly, but no words came. "Luke Ward," I added. I didn't recognize the name at first, but he's been here a few times. More than a few. "Jake, it's not—" "It is," I said. Calm, no anger. "You don't need to lie. I didn't come back to argue." She stared at the folder, then leaned back in the chair. "You were spying on me?" I smiled faintly. "No, I was documenting you." That hit her. I slid a second folder across the table. "This one's for the lawyer, Maria Keller. She's already preparing the paperwork. Your infidelity nullifies your claim to the assets. That's in the prenup we both reviewed together, remember?" She stayed silent. "I'll be fair about transition time," I said. "You have 7 days to make arrangements. You'll receive a call from Maria by tomorrow. I've taken care of the logistics." Nicole finally spoke. "So that's it?" "That's it," I said. "I'm not interested in punishment. I'm interested in being done." I picked up my glass, took a sip, and walked out of the kitchen. She didn't follow. That night, she didn't sleep in the bedroom. I heard her on the phone late, whispering hard, pacing. No crying, no apologies, just frustration. I stayed in our bed, slept fine. By morning, she was gone, left a note on the counter. "Staying with a friend. I'll be in touch." No name, no address. Maria called before lunch. "She's already spoken to a lawyer," she said. "But there's nothing they can do. We're protected." "Good," I replied. "Push ahead." The next few days were quiet. Nicole sent a single text. "This is brutal, Jake. I never meant for it to go this far." I didn't answer. Peter stopped by the house on Saturday. We sat on the back porch. He gave me the update. Luke hadn't been near Nicole all week. Not surprising. Monday came. Nicole showed up with a small moving van and a friend I didn't recognize, a woman in her late 30s. She didn't speak to me directly, just boxed what was hers, which wasn't much: clothes, a few personal books, and some framed photos. Before she left, she stopped at the door. "You were never this cold," she said. "Not when we met." I held her gaze. "I was never stupid either." Her face hardened. "So, that's how you see it?" "No," I said. "That's how you made it." She didn't argue, just turned and walked out. The door shut behind her like the end of a final act. And just like that, the house was mine again. Quiet, still, but finally honest. By Friday, it felt different, lighter. Maria filed the divorce paperwork within days. Nicole didn't contest. She knew she didn't have ground to stand on. Her lawyer tried a soft push, emotional appeals, and vague threats. Maria shut it all down before it started. "She's trying to save face," Maria said. "Let her." I agreed. Word got around, as it always does. Friends stopped asking why Nicole wasn't around at dinner. I didn't explain anything. I didn't have to. Nicole, on the other hand, wasn't handling it well. A mutual acquaintance, Zoe, mentioned Nicole had moved into a small rental in a cheaper part of town, claimed she needed space to figure things out. Luke, apparently, ghosted her, disappeared as soon as things saw daylight. He quit his job at the marketing firm 2 weeks later. The rumor was his wife found out everything. The irony was quiet and sharp. All that for a few stolen nights. The divorce finalized faster than I expected. Clean, uncontested. As for me, I started emptying the closets. I sold the house within a month. Didn't want the memories, didn't need the space. I donated half the furniture and kept the rest in storage. The following month, I took a short trip to Barcelona. No itinerary. Just walked the streets, took photos, and sat in cafes without obligations. It was strange at first, all that silence. But over time, it stopped feeling empty. It felt earned. 3 months passed before I saw her again. I was at the airport, waiting for a flight to Tokyo. My gate had changed last minute, and I was walking toward the new one when I noticed her sitting alone. Nicole. She looked different. No makeup, hair tied back, a blue airline ID badge hung around her neck. She wore a fitted uniform, not the polished elegance she used to curate so carefully. She looked up and saw me. There was a pause, like she wasn't sure whether to stand. But then she did. "Jake," she said quietly. "Nicole." She stepped forward, not close, but enough for a polite distance. "I didn't expect—" She motioned vaguely toward the terminal. "Gate change," I said. She nodded. "I work ground support now. Airline admin team. It's not glamorous, but it's a job." I just nodded. "I speak Spanish and French," she added. "That helped me get in. The job market wasn't very kind after—" She stopped herself. "I'm glad you landed on your feet," I said. She looked away, then back at me. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I didn't say it before. I was too proud, too used to pretending I was smarter than I was." I didn't rush to fill the silence. When she finally met my eyes again, hers looked softer, honest, maybe for the first time in years. "I hope you're doing okay," she said. "I am," I replied. A long pause stretched between us. She glanced at the time, then at me. "I should get back." I nodded. "Take care, Nicole." "You too." She walked away without looking back. I watched her disappear into the employee corridor. No drama, no big scene. Just two people who used to share a name, now walking in different directions. And for once, I didn't feel the need to rewind anything. I boarded the plane, took my seat by the window, and leaned back. I didn't think about Nicole after that moment in the airport. Not in anger, not in regret. She was part of a version of me that no longer fit. The version that tolerated silence as loyalty and routine as love. When we first met, I thought I was choosing stability. She made things look polished, clean, and manageable. But some people live for performance, and they expect you to never look behind the curtain. I did, and I didn't explode. I just stepped back, measured everything, and made a decision. Not out of pride, but out of self-respect. I work less now, not retired, just selective. I freelance when I feel like it, consult with startups, and pick projects that interest me instead of ones that impress people. Now and then, someone asks, "What really happened with you two?" I tell them the truth in one sentence. I let her make her choices. Then, I made mine. That usually ends the conversation. Just like that morning I left for Berlin, when I walked out the door and she barely looked up. I did the same. Only this time I wasn't coming back. Thank you for watching.